Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today, first off, still recovering from my broken hand, finger, whatever you want to call it. I will say that the hand is vastly improved over where we were last week with this thing. The swelling has pretty much all gone away. I got my stitch out now. Most of the time, I'm actually not even wearing the brace, which the doctor said was fine as long as I'm just protecting it when I'm, in a situation where I might re-injure it. I've been able to use my hand pretty well. It's still sore. It still hurts a little bit. I mean, it's not bad pain by any means, but it is still a little bit sore and it's still weak. And I'm trying not to use it any more than I have to, particularly when I'm doing anything strenuous or anything like that. Haven't really gotten back out here in the shop and done much of anything other than just some cleaning things up and putting some tools up and things like that. But I feel like probably this week I'm going to start easing back into things. Still probably going to be a little while before I do anything strenuous. But anyway, it is coming along very nicely. I go back to the doctor later this week and kind of waiting to hear what he says before I kind of go into things full tilt. But today, this is I'm going to call it a new machine day. I don't know if you really call this a machine or not, but at least it is a new tool, new item for the shop. Brand new item that I recently just purchased to come out here. What this is, it is a new Hot Shot heat treatment oven. You guys know I've got the little Hot Shot 360 oven. If you watch a lot, you probably see me use it some, use it for doing heat treating and various things. It has been a great tool and I've really enjoyed having it, but I have come to the conclusion that it had one limitation, and that limitation was its size. It was kind of small. For doing smaller stuff, it was great, but I had several situations where I needed an oven that was a little bit bigger and either just put off doing the job or in some cases even sent stuff off, and most of it wasn't even on video. There's a lot of stuff that I do in the shop that doesn't ever get on video, but anyway, I decided to upgrade to a larger size oven. So I got with the guys over at Hot Shot Oven and Kiln, and they sent me down a new one here. Now, I will tell you guys that these guys are a sponsor of my website, or of this YouTube channel. No, this was not free. I paid for it. They did give me a little bit of a break on it, but I did purchase this for the shop, and I'm really excited to have this in here because I think it's going to be a valuable asset and really enable me to do some things that I haven't been able to do so far. So today what I want to do is this will be kind of light duty stuff, something I can do with my broken hand finger. So we're going to see if we can get this thing put together, and it needs to go through a little break-in period too and see if we can get that going as well. Maybe not get it completed in this video, but at least get it fired off. So let's get in here. This is as it was delivered. I went with their knife maker kiln, which is I think 24 inches deep, 10 inch by 10 inch by 24 inch. So it's a good bit larger than the one that I have. This one runs on 220 volts, whereas my Hot Shot 360 oven, you could actually run on a regular 120 volt, 20 amp circuit. This one here requires 240 volts at 20 amps. So a little bit more power because of its size. I did also opt to go with an Argon kit on this one. So the Argon kit basically allows you to pipe Argon in, same gas that you use for TIG welding. You basically put an inert gas inside of the oven and you keep a real small amount kind of flushing through there constantly. And when you do that, you're basically displacing all the oxygen inside the oven so you don't get oxidation going on. In the past, I've had to wrap it up in that stainless steel foil to keep the oxygen off. With an Argon kit, you're basically, like I said, putting that inert gas in there so you don't have any reaction. So I'm kind of excited about that. And this one also has an updated, more modern controller on it than the one that I have on my 360. That has got touch screen on it. You can actually connect it to your phone. You can monitor your stuff through Wi-Fi. So I can turn the oven on, go up to the house, monitor, look at my phone, see what the temperature is in the oven. I can program it from the phone. I can save programs on my phone and just plug into this thing and connect to it wirelessly, which is a big improvement over the controller that's in there. The controller that's in there works great, but it is a little bit of a I won't say it's a pain to program, but my problem is that I don't program it enough. Every time I have to go program it, it's like I got to remember how to do everything, whereas this one is a lot more intuitive. So let's get in here, break this pallet down, see if we can get this thing set up and going. So here it is on the pallet already. It came in. This is just how it was shipped in. They shipped this via FedEx Freight, via a big truck. They brought it here to the house, and I went up and picked it up in my skid steer, which I have forklift forks for, and I was able to just bring it here to the house. Now, guys, one thing that I will mention, I mentioned a while ago that Hotshot 360 and American Rotary, same parent company, two different kind of companies within there, but they're both sponsors of my YouTube channel here. And what that entails is a couple of things. First off, you guys, if you make purchases from them and you use my checkout code, which is Vintage10, you can get a 10% discount from the company when you buy phase converters or ovens. Also, when you do that, where they kind of are a sponsor, I get a little commission off of it. So it helps my channel out as well. So just keep that in mind if you ever are in the market for a oven or a phase converter. Use that checkout code. It helps out you and it helps out me. So, and they have been really good over at that company. Awesome American company, local support, American support. You're not talking to someone in a foreign country. If you got questions or whatever, you can give them a call. They'll help you out. So I've really enjoyed working with those guys over the years. See if we can get this out of here. Tell you what, I think I'm going to leave the oven where it's at right now and go ahead and get the stand put together. That way I only got to move it once. So I believe these boxes are the stand that I ordered with it. This stand is optional. You don't have to get it. It adds a little bit to the cost, but you got a nice little rolling stand that's built for it. And I opted to go with the extra shelf, the optional extra shelf that you can get up underneath the bottom for a little bit extra storage space. And that looks like the shelf right there. This one I'm assuming is going to be the rest of the stand. This one has one shelf on it, but I opted that again for that extra shelf there for a little extra storage space. Storage space is always at an optimum, and I know a shelf isn't much, but that adds a lot of horizontal space to put stuff on, which is always a good thing in a shop. All right, let me cut the side of this box open where I can get that out open a little bit easier, get that out a little bit easier. There we go. Another shelf. Another shelf here. So we'll have the top that the oven will sit on, and there'll be two shelves down below it. This says manual, casters, and hardware. I'm just going to set these over here for the moment. And I'm assuming that these are going to be the legs. There we go. All right, let me see what we need to do to start putting this whole thing together. I'm going to start putting this together, and I will note I took my brace off, guys. I can move my hand around pretty well, but it was just I couldn't manipulate these bolts with the brace on, so I think I'm going to be fine. Just got to be real careful here not to hurt it, but I don't think I'm doing anything that's going to be any problem. So I got my hardware. We got nuts and bolts here. We need to kind of get going. Just going to start on here by putting these in loose, and then I use my driver over here, my drill driver, and a bit, and we'll get all these tightened up. Each one of these sides has 4 bolts holding the shelf. So 2 on the front, 2 on the side. So there's what, 4, 8, 16. So that'll make 16 bolts for each shelf on here. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and put the other shelves in there and we'll flip it around. I'm going to go ahead and put these casters on the bottom before I put the bottom shelf in here, because I'm not going to have a lot of clearance to get these bolts through. And I think what I'm going to do is actually put the head on the bottom and put the nut on the inside, just so it's not sticking out as far. It won't interfere with that caster. And put it on our bottom shelf. Whoop. Go ahead and put our top leg on up here, and we'll get some bolts going in it to get it kind of positioned where it needs to be. I think I'm going to go ahead and tighten up all these bolts on the sides before we flip it up. Just use a wrench on the back side and my driver on the front side. This has got a hex tool in here that fits this cap screw. I need to put my other screws in the side here, and I think we'll have it knocked out. All right, we got all our screws put in, and we got our cart put together. We're ready to put our oven up on the top of this thing. This oven is not all that heavy, but with my broken hand, I didn't really want to pick it up, so I'm using the chain hoist. I'm making very easy work of this. Let's see if we can get this stand up underneath it. And there we go. Oh yeah, that clears the little upright over there just fine. The latch is shut. Nice big opening in there. I like it. All right. Well, while we're working on an oven inside the shop, outside the shop, we got a whole different world going on. Last night, it come with snow down here in South Georgia. And we got about 4.5 inches of snow, which is, for South Georgia where I'm at, I mean, we're 60 miles north of the Florida line. This is unheard of. This is extremely, extremely rare to have this much snow down here. Like I said, I measured about 4.5 inches a little while ago. It started snowing about dark last night, and snowed most of the night. We got some sleet at some point in time, so the top of this snow has a crunchy layer of sleet on it, and it is a mess. So out here on the driveway, got some more ice. You can hear it crunching up underneath my feet. In fact, I saw some water kind of flowing down up underneath that ice. That's what our roads look like, guys. That is why Southerners have problems driving on the road when it snows, because when it snows, we get this mess. We get ice. It's not just snow on the road. You get ice on the road because our ground doesn't ever get cold enough for stuff to freeze to it, so it melts and then refreezes, and you turn into this slippery mess. And usually when we have the snow down here in the south, everybody from the south stays home, and all the people from up north, oh, I can drive in that, and they're the ones that are in the ditches because they're out driving on ice. But anyway, I digress. Here's on the bed of my truck, and this is a kind of insulated top, so you can kind of see this is actually how much snow we got. Let me push that in there. Got to get it to go in. So that's, I don't know if you can see that or not. See if I can get that to focus. That's about 4.5 inches of snow. I can't tell if that's focused or not, but that's what we got with my super precision Starrett scale. So 4.5 inches is what we got. Well, guys, I'm gonna probably slip out here to the shop. It's actually not too bad inside. I had the heat running in there yesterday, and I'll probably go ahead and turn it back on. It was 22 degrees this morning. I think we're supposed to go up to 36 this afternoon and back down to in the teens tonight. But tomorrow, I think we get up into 40s. So anyway, crazy times. Again, I know for you guys up north, this is nothing, but for us down here in the south, this is unheard of. And I see one of my neighbors up there on the road driving. Yeah, hope he doesn't end up in a ditch. Well, I thought I'd share that. Like I said, that's a pretty rare event for us South Georgia folks. I got on my cold weather gear, pretty much every bit of it that I own. And it's not too bad if you're dressed for it, but I think we'll go back in the house and sit by the fire. We'll talk to you guys later.
It's right here.
So are you making the
Hey, I needed y'all.
Ron, do you think that's good?
what's that?
Make me a snowman.
See, because Bo can make the base, the bigger one. You can make the middle one.
I want to try and do one all on my own.
Of course you do.
Knock yourself out.
How do you even do that? Start with a ball and you just keep
And then you
rolling
roll
and you
it.
see it'll pick up the snow.
Oh, you're gonna.
I was
freeze.
struggling for forever.
Oh, but dude, you have no gloves.
Huh?
Where are your gloves?
Oh, I'll be fine. Mine
Oh, it's just his fingers. They'll warm.
He'll make the head because he's gonna get about the head, but he goes, I'm too cold.
There you go.
about that as timing as an old Ford truck.
Yeah, because
Your feet get it better than your arms, huh?
I'll put that.
You gotta bear down a little bit with your arms.
Yeah, push with your muscles.
Me and Luke made this with our hard work.
That's
Well,
right.
yeah,
We're
I-
gonna send it to Feeble, so
Smile.
just stop.
All
Just
three
put
of
PS
you.
on the bottom. It
And
wasn't
then
made
I'll
by
get-
the one on the far
And
right.
then I'll get the two of you.
Far left.
Yeah, here we go.
Jesse, I
A
can't
big
see
snow.
you.
He's gonna. The snowman's as tall as Jesse.
I know, right?
Actually, the snowman might be taller than you.
Yeah, that's all right.
Awesome.
Well, guys, it's been a cold day down here in South Georgia. We had that snow come in, end up with about, I think you guys saw, what, 4.5 inches. And actually my buddy, Jim Bollinger from down in Florida, came up and brought his kids. It's a 5-hour drive, but they've never seen snow before. And they came up and spent the afternoon, built the snowmen and all that kind of stuff. We had a pretty good time. I do want to get back on this oven though, and at least try to get this thing burned in. It's getting kind of late in the day, but when you get these ovens, the first thing you need to do is run it through a heat cycle. Basically, when you get these, you got all the insulation in here, and when you heat it up the first time, it's going to off gas, and it's going to send off a lot of really kind of stinky, smelly stuff. Once you do it though, it's kind of done. So it's kind of a curing process, and you need to get that done. So that's the first thing we're going to do with this oven is just let it do that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this thing kind of run its program to do its off-gassing and stuff tonight while I'm not down here in the shop, so I don't have to smell it and all that, because it does smell pretty bad. I've done this on my other oven before, and you don't want to be in here while you're doing it, but the next day it's usually fine. It'll probably have a little odor when I come in the shop, but it won't be anything terrible. But you really don't want to be in here while it's doing it, because it really kind of smokes and puts off some a lot of pretty smelly stuff. So real quickly, this oven comes with a 220 volt plug. This is actually, what is this, a L620P. So it's a 20 amp plug, 220 volts. L6, it's a twist lock type plug, which is a standard plug for 20 amps, which is what you need, 20 amps, 220 volts. Now, in my shop, I have it wired for 3-phase, and most of my 3-phase circuits in here are 20 amp circuits. And with my 3-phase system that I got in here, my outlets that I got in here, even when the phase converter is turned off, I basically have the 220 volt 2 legs of the 3-phase that are coming in off the single phase input that I'm getting. That's actually going to the plugs at all times. And that's kind of handy because if I do need 220 volts, I can just plug into that, use the two of the 3 legs, use the 2 normal legs that are coming in, not the generated leg, because it's going to be hot all the time. And I can run 220 volts off of those outlets I've got over there. So what I did is I made up a little pigtail here. And this pigtail basically allows me to plug in this 20 amp plug here. And this plug over here is a 3-phase plug. And again, these are 20 amp circuits. So I've got 20 amp, 220 volt single phase off of that by just using 2 of the legs, the 2 legs that are on all the time. So I'm gonna plug this in over here, and we'll use this to power the thing. And that way, since I've already got my shop wired for that, there's no reason for me to have to run just standard 220 volt circuits to do that. So we'll just use this here. And my phone's going off right there underneath the microphone. So this has an SDS Industries tap controller in it. This is a big improvement, or at least it should be a big improvement over the Novus controller that I have on my other one. And you got a nice screen on here. This is a touch screen. I'm just going to say OK here. I actually found if I use the eraser on a pencil, it tends to work a little bit better. My fat fingers tend to kind of hit the wrong button, at least when I was hitting some of the smaller buttons when I was playing around with this a while ago. I'm just going to go in here to start, and when I do, it comes with a program already in it called Initial Run. And this Initial Run will be the cycle that it needs to basically burn this oven out and get it cleaned up. So we're going to just select that, and I'm just going to hit start, and we'll just go on with it. So would you like to add a delayed start? The delayed start will only apply to this firing. No, I want it to go right away. And execute initial run. So right now, we're in step 1 of 4. The kiln temperature is 83 degrees. We're going up to 800 degrees. It's going to hold it there for 45 minutes. And let's see, do I need to do anything else here? All right, it looks like it is climbing up in there. We're at 78 degrees, 80 degrees. You can see the temperature inside there. Again, we're going up to 800 degrees. And we're just going to let it run here. And I've got over here what it's going to do, and I'll kind of explain to you what's happening here. So I kind of go over the program that's in here just to kind of see what's going on or know what's going on. I'm just going to read this off of here because this is the little user's manual that comes. It talks about the first time here just so you kind of know what's going on. So number 1, when you're doing this initial run, you need to use it in a well-ventilated area, outdoors if possible. I'm not going to take it outside. Actually, I think when I did my last oven, I set it outside the door. But with the weather like it is, we're not going to go outside with this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of leave the shop. I'm going to let this thing run, and I'm going to go back up to the house. I'll check on it a couple of times. But let me kind of read through here and tell exactly what's going to be going on through this process, just so you kind of understand. Like I said, this is normal. This is first time you get this, the first time you run this, and then it's done, and you don't have to do it again. But we're going to go up to 800 degrees, and it's going to hold it there for... So basically what's going to happen is it's going to ease up to 400 degrees over about half an hour. During that time, you're going to get a slight odor of burned anchor lube and assembly lubricant, small amounts of smoke. The cable board inside that you saw in there that was all white a while ago is going to turn a chocolate brown if you were to open the door, and you're going to start getting some off-gassing. That off-gassing is basically just the all the impurities and stuff that is inside that insulation is going to start kind of coming out. So we've been going now for a couple of minutes. We're up to 143 degrees. It's just climbing up real slow. After it soaks at a half an hour at 400 degrees, it's going to ramp up to 800 degrees, and it's going to hold it there for 45 minutes. It says the odor from the insulating board will begin to really stink. You will wonder if this is actually normal. Don't worry, it is. I'm reading this right off of here. You will open the oven door, if you open the oven door, expect to see a fire show of outgassing contaminants and heavy smoke. Now that's going to pretty much stay inside the oven. You get some smell out of here, but you won't see the fire and stuff on the outside. But if you were to open the door, you will. After it soaks at 800 degrees for 45 minutes, it's going to ramp up to 1200 degrees. It's going to soak there for 1 hour. Then it's going to ramp up to 1600 degrees. It's going to soak there for 1 hour. At 1600 degrees, the comment here says the smell is still very strong. The inner insulating board of the oven is starting to cleanse itself, and it's starting to turn white. So remember a while ago it was turning chocolate brown. Now it's starting to turn white. There will be a round ring around the outside of the door, and as it goes, that ring is going to move outwards. It's going to start on the inside and kind of move outwards. Even my other oven, you can still see that little ring around it now. After you get to 1600 degrees, it's going to jump up to 1800 degrees. It's going to soak there for 1 hour. And the comment there says all downhill from here. You've burned off most of the impurities from the insulating board. The inner oven should be chalk white, and it will be. And the brown ring around the door will be starting to fade. And again, you'll probably see that brown ring for a while, but it will get lighter and lighter the more you use it. And it says on the second and third firing, you might still have a slight odor, but it'll be decreasing with each subsequent firing. On my other oven, I didn't even really notice anything after the first one. You may get a little bit of smell, but it won't be very much. So there you go. That's kind of the process we're going right now, because it's just, I don't want to be down here while this thing's off gassing. I'm going to go up to the house. I'm going to come down here and just check on it a couple of times. I should have enough time for this thing to run its program before I go to bed, and I can kind of come down here and shut everything off. We're up to 211 degrees, and we're just going to let this thing run. All right, guys. Probably take a look at it tomorrow morning after it's cooled down. Guys, I let this run its initial run last night and go through the whole process. So it was already pre-programmed, like I said before, and we just let it do that. This morning I came out and I ran the temperature up on it. I was just playing around with it more than anything else. And right now it's cooling down. It's at 1568 degrees. Temperature's dropping. I got the elements basically turned off. They're red in there right now, but they're turned off. They're just from the heat that was in the oven. Everything seems to be working just fine. Happy with how it is. One thing that I've noticed on this is that, I actually came down here last night when it was running up at 1800 degrees, and you can put your hand on me. I just had this thing up at 2000 degrees. You can put your hand anywhere on the outside of this, and it's warm. I wouldn't even call it hot. It's warm. This thing is very well insulated. Very impressed with that. So now also one thing that I did was I connected this controller. I downloaded the app to my phone, and you can actually see the temperature on your phone. There is a little bit of a delay, but it's running within a couple of degrees of what it's saying right here on the thing. So 38, 41. So so you just went to 38. So it's refreshing every couple of seconds or so. So it's not in just absolute real time, but it's in near real time. I can see that's going to be handy because I can actually be up at the house or whatever and be able to monitor this thing and see where it's at. And you can actually write your programs on your phone rather than on the controller here, which I find to be a little bit easier. The touchscreen on here, it works, but it works fine, but it can be a little bit finicky, whereas my phone it's just easier to do it. And you can just do it right here. It'll save, basically it'll see whatever is saved in the program on this device, and you can write one, it'll send it right over there to it. You can load your programs. You can save, I think, an unlimited number of programs. I'm sure there's a memory limit in here, but for all practical purposes, it's an unlimited number of programs that you can do and just call up and recall. Much easier than the Novus controller. The Novus controller, I could write a program, but I had to save it on my computer, and then I had to plug my computer up to it with a USB thing, run an app on my computer, and move the programs over. It was it wasn't a huge deal, but it was a bit of a pain in the rear. They didn't have a phone app or anything like that where you could just do it right there. You had to bring my computer over here, plug in the USB cord, and go through a process of flashing it, and the software was not very user-friendly. This software is very user-friendly, and it does pretty much everything that you can do right here on the controller. All in all, very impressed with this oven. I'm anxious to use it. I do need to install the Argon kit. Let me show you that. I'm not going to do it right now just because the oven's hot, and I don't want to try to mess with it while it's hot. I want it to cool down and do it, but let me show you what all that entails. It's a fairly simple process, and let me get that real quick. So with the Argon kit, basically what you get is these items right here. This is the injector that goes down in there. Basically, I believe this is a ceramic. I'm not sure exactly what that is. There's 4 little holes in the bottom. This is threaded in the top. You screw in one of these fittings here that connects to the hose. I need to tighten all this up. I'm not going to do it right now, but that just basically tightens up to that hose. When you tighten up to here, that screws into this. On the other end, you also have a fitting here that connects to the hose, and then this connects to your regulator or flow meter, and they recommend a flow meter on this. And basically what you will do is you pull one of these plugs. There's 2 of these plugs in the oven. I'll probably use the one in the front. And you drill a 3/8 inch hole all the way down through the insulation. You just drop this down in there, and then you connect everything up to it, and you connect this up to your flow meter on an Argon tank, and you just basically run Argon into the oven. And the whole idea there is that you have an inert gas in here, non-reactive gas, and it cuts down the oxidation. Well, there you go, guys. Really excited to have my new hot shot oven here. This is again the, let me look here. This is the HS24K. So this is a 2400 square inch hot shot oven. This is their knife maker's kiln, and specifications on it: maximum temperature 2200 degrees Fahrenheit, 220 volt, 240 volt input. You use a 20 amp circuit. We talked about that before. Weighs 105 pounds. The inside dimensions are 8 inches by 7 inches by 24 inches. And if you're interested in this, you can go check them out at hotshotovens.com. They have a whole line of these ovens in different sizes or whatever. This is one of their larger ovens, which is one that I opted to go with because of some of the size of the stuff that I work with from time to time, and needing one a little bit larger than the 360 oven that I had previously, or still have, but I'm going to be parting with shortly. Yeah, and I'll also mention that if you are in the market for one of these ovens, I think I mentioned this before as well, VintageMachinery.org does have a 10% discount. You can use a checkout code of Vintage10 when you check out, and it will give you a 10% discount on any of their ovens and kilns at Hot Shot Ovens and Kilns. That same discount code is also usable over at AmericanRotary.com. Same parent company. One of them makes phase converters, one of them makes these ovens, but you can use that Vintage10 discount code at American Rotary phase converters and get a 10% discount on phase converters as well. When you do that, you get a discount, and then it also helps my channel out a little bit. I get a little bit of a commission off of it as well, so it helps me out as well, and also helps out Hot Shot Oven and Kiln, or American Rotary, which is a good American company, locally made, US made stuff, support right here in the USA. Good folks to deal with. if you ever have any questions or problems, they're there to help you out, and they'll stand behind their products, and I have been very impressed with them over the years. So highly recommend both of those companies. I've been impressed with them, and I don't go out and recommend many companies unless I'm truly impressed with them. So they do fit the bill there. Guys, with that, we're going to get out of here. As always, thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Those thumbs up and comments are always greatly appreciated. Hit that bell icon up there to get notifications when new videos are posted. As always, thank you to those who support the site financially through Patreon and PayPal. Greatly appreciate that. Really enables me to take the time to shoot the videos and bring this content to you. With that, guys, we're going to get out of here. We'll catch you on the next video. As always, thanks for watching.